Hey, I know you. Hey everyone, this is a Flatline Van Co roof rack install. As you can see, we're all done. I'm going to take you through the steps that I did to build it, and we'll land here. Let's get started. Okay, first thing we have to do is pry these covers up and expose the holes. Let's send this bolt in here and see if we're good to go. These are M8, 13mm hex top. There we go. This one's good to go. I'm going to use some Goo Gone to clean up the glue. Okay, that's pretty clean. We're going to use a little bit of rubbing alcohol here just to make sure this is really clean before we put down our gasket. This is the new version of the Flatline Van Co roof rack, Low Pro roof rack. They have a new bracket here and they've attached the gasket for you in advance. So we lay that down. They have this compression washer with the rubber on the bottom side. Need to screw that onto the bolt and send it down through the bracket into the hole. This is 13mm. Make sure that's lined up nicely. It's pretty good and snug. I'm going to come back and do a final tightening a little bit later. That's the first bracket in. 9 more to go. All right, gang, here we are. Second hole, and it's already off center on this side. So hopefully there's not more. We're going to do a little bit of grinding, open this hole up so I can get the bolt down where it belongs. I think that's got it. Okay. We're good to go. Now I need to vacuum this up and clean it off. Just to finish this up before I clean it, I'm going to file that down a little bit. Then we will vacuum and paint. My neighbors are here mowing their yard like 4 times over, so you're probably going to... Hey, I caught a break from the neighbors mowing, so I'll show you this again after painting in case that pre-painting was just absolutely ridiculous with their mowing. So this is one of the ones where I had to grind out, as you may have heard. This is true with several transits. But you have to grind it out to be able to get to the threaded area in there. And now I've painted it. On one other, let me show you this again. You see that inner layer, not this outer one, but the inner one before the threads. I actually had to grind that on one of the others. So 2 out of 10 on my extended length needed some grinding so that I could get the bolts in place. So this is the last and final one on this roof. Let's get it done. I've already pre-threaded here. Make sure it's good to straight. And the mowing is back. There we go. All 10 done. Next up, lap sealant. Next step, we're going to put some Dicor lap sealant around this top border here. Hey down there, I've got Dicor lap sealant up on each of these, recommended by Flatline Van Company. And I've got my dad here with me, and we're going to put up these rails. So hang tight, here it comes. Come on up. Dad, come to me. Don't let it hit the van, thank you. Now I bring it all the way up. Okay. All right, you just kind of get to hold on to the back of it while I put in some screws. You're gonna have to come more forward, aren't you?
I'll be good.
You sure?
I think so.
All right. So, set it up there. Yep. Okay. And now you just have to hold. Are you comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay. Send one of their bolts from the bottom up. Washer, and the slightly curved edge of the washer goes up towards the nut. Get that nut on by hand. Get the next one. Oh, that's kind of tricky. I wonder what... Hey guys, so you can see in this video, we're starting to scratch our head a little bit about how to get the next bolt in after the first one. The new Flatline Van Co version 2 rack mounts that came out end of 2021, early 2022. It's a different mount, so it's a little tricky to get the bolt in there after you get the first one in place. This is a much larger bolt than theirs, but for demonstration purposes, it has the square part here like theirs. Grab it with some needle nose and swoop the bolt into place. Notice I'm not holding it this way. I promise your hand will just get in the way. So get your fingers up and you can swoop that bolt in, get your finger under it, put the nylock, put the washer on, put the nylock on, and you'll be good to go. Now my dad was super thrilled that he's the one that came up with this idea. A little bit later in the video, he said, I want to try this. Just wait. I put the blooper at the end. He couldn't get it. He tried, he couldn't even implement his own idea. But I hope this little trick helps, and enjoy watching the rest of the rack installation. What the flippin' hell? You gotta be a monkey. There you go. Okay, one side loosely in, and now we need to do the center bracket for it. On the driver's side, we're going to put this bracket in here. We're going to use their hex-headed bolts. Send it through. Washer. Nylock nut. And as with everything else, just finger tight for now. Okay, driver's side done. Moving over to the passenger side. Not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but the way that we knew that this was the driver's side, other than the fact that when you hold it in place, it's kind of obvious. This one also has the pills for their ladder. So that way you know that's the driver's side front piece. Hand it to me on this side, please. We have options with these. We can put them in the pair of holes, or you can put it in the pill so that you can slide them around and adjust them. For the rear one for now, we're just going to put it through the holes that exist. And these are the hex head bolts. I need the strength of this. How tight are yours? I didn't go snug, but I went all the way in.
Yeah, it's all the way in.
That's good enough for now. We know we have to tighten every single bolt on this entire rig, so. All right, that's gonna add good rigidity, but tightening everything will finish it up. Okay, folks, only one more crossbar to go, and it's for the fairing. So we'll take that into the workshop and get a little bit of pre-assembly done. Let's do the fairing assembly. We have some T-nuts, some lock washers, some 1/4-20 hex bolts. Gonna put the lock washer on the hex bolt, send it through, and just barely thread this on. And thread it on with the little dimple away from the bolt. That's going to be important when it goes into the T-slot. Give yourself plenty of room in there. You're going to slide these on as a single unit. This one is leftmost. It slides right into that T-slot there. And I'm just going to estimate for the moment. The manual says 11 1/8 inches. So next will be the center, so I can come all the way from the end to the centerpiece. If you do the ends first, you can't do the center. Try it, you'll see. Next we'll put on the fairing gasket. Could you imagine? At least you know this is not coming off once you get it on properly. Once you have these three loosely fit on, shiny side up, gasket there, we can start assembling further. Use these with the flat pan hex. Go through the front, through your bracket, washer, part with the curve towards the nylock nut. There is some play for us to adjust these. I'm going to go ahead and get them mostly snug, but not snug all the way. Just a little bit. I don't know if there's a better way here in terms of center or sides first, so I'm just going to start on one side. And it's going to be a slight pain anyway, the way everything's weighted, and if you drop a bolt. This might work, except you can't see what I'm doing. Now, given the reach across the van, I know I can't reach these center bolts once this thing is up. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten these up. Again, snug. Don't murder it. It's plastic fairing. Oh, this is interesting. They say you can play with these and tighten things up once you're up there, but you're not reaching these nuts. Just use a regular Allen wrench. It's going to be a little slower. It'll work. Turn. Let's get this thing centered. This is fun. It's an awkward piece. Shall be down here. If you've done a really good job, at least by eyeball, I'm pretty dead on. So I hope this doesn't bite me in the butt. Go ahead and tighten these down with the T-nut. Magical, right? I feel like it is safe to leave these in the loose position since I've got the center ones tightened. If I get up there and I find out that I have to slide this way on those pill slots, so be it. I'll have to deal with it. But I think there's enough flexibility now here for getting this all up. Now this crossbar goes in just the way the other crossbars went in. This is going to attach to the front, the pointy wings of the side rails of the rack. And this should be up against the van's metal roof. Let's see how it goes. Welcome back to the front of the van. I've attached the fairing. It was just another crossbar install, so I figured you didn't need to see that again. I did have my packing blanket laid down as I was doing it until I had the crossbar bolts attached. Obviously, I didn't want this to go crashing down this giant sloped roof on the Transit. So, as before, I already tightened the bolts in the middle of the fairing. Figured they'd be a little difficult to reach. And now we're going to add in the bolt, the washer, and the nylock nut for the two here on the side. They come through here. Get that lined up. Good to go. Hopefully my socket has enough room to get in here, or I'll need to just grab some small pliers to hold that while I screw it in with the hex. After that, I need to go around and tighten every single nylock on this rack, including attaching the sides on the passenger as well. Let's see, will this get onto the nut? It will. Good and tight. Oh yeah, I did tighten these previously inside. Good. Okay, tighten these. I just have to get my smaller socket or just a good old-fashioned set of pliers to hold that in place. There we go. Remember to not over tighten these since you're in the plastic. There we go. And now I'll do the other side, same thing. Thought I'd show you a quick tip as we finish tightening all these bolts. Just stick your finger under the head of this bolt. You might recall these have the square on them. That square is holding the bolt from spinning inside the metal, but if you don't hold it up, the square is not there to grab it. But once you do that, you can tighten down with your socket on the nylock, no problem. I'll go ahead and finish this all the way around this side, passenger side, and also the brackets between these two sets of rails, the front rail and the back rail. Well, here you go. The Flatline Van Co roof rack is installed. I put all the crossbars just where the double holes where you can put them in these pill slots to slide them around, and I will most certainly have to do that later. I'm going to have a Maxxair fan up here in this front bay all the way forward with the Hain DIY van gasket, and also in the furthest rear bay. Probably going to have a Dometic RTX 2000 air conditioner, again with another Hain DIY van roof gasket there to help me mount it nice and level and flat. And solar panels. George, over at Humble Road, he had this same rack on one of his Transits just recently and had an issue with the width of the crossbar. I believe he had to extend them by somewhere like 1 inch to 1.5 inches. I'll give you his video link in the description just so you can check that out. My guess is he got the Renogy 100-watt panels that are 22% efficient, and those are 20.9 inches wide. And when you have a Maxxair fan in the middle, I didn't measure exactly, but it's about 17 inches. So if you put the basically 21, 21, and 17 together, you're at 59, give or take. And these are just a teensy bit shy of 58-inch crossbars, so I can see why he had to expand that. Now this rack does have a little bit of flexibility in its width, so he was able to accomplish that. I am going to probably get the Renogy 100 watt, 18% efficient 100 watt for up front. Those are only 20 inches wide. So solar panel, Maxxair fan, solar panel, that should fit on this roof. Depending on the measurements that I do from, let's say approximately here back to where the Dometic will be, if I can get an additional 100 watt here, I will. That'll give me 300 up there, and then I'll do two 200s here. I'm gonna have two MPPT controllers running that, so the 300s on one, the two 200s on another, for 700 watts of solar. That's my hope. Of course, there'll be a later video on that. Hope you enjoyed this one. See you on the next one.
I don't know. You mean try to put one in here?
Do you want to try? Well, pinch it here, like this. Dad, pinch it like that. Then you have to go up and under, right? You follow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then get a finger under it. So. Try not to mash your knuckles into the white stuff. Hello? Because it's not fully cured.
Yep.
The lap sealant. Yeah. Be delicate. I can't tell if the camera can pick you up or not.
Shit.
There's a middle hole in the back, remember? Look, right here. Yeah, stick your finger through the middle. Got it? I don't care which one of the two you do, whichever one you think is easier. You see, it's not a, I mean, this is your idea, and it's working, but it still doesn't make it any easier, does it? That's 3 times. We're gonna count. Just don't cuss too much, it's YouTube. 4.
I'm doomed.
It's just not that easy, is it? All right, do this when you're holding on to those pliers. Have everything else out of the way. Like having your hand under it prevents you from that motion. Make sense?
Yeah.
And turn more towards an angle so you can get down into the railing.
I just can't get my finger on it to push it up. 4.
No, that was 5.
That's 5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't really say 1 and 2, so. You're determined, right?
Hold that thing there. Gotta come this way. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
It's a pain in the butt, isn't it? All right, go on down, I'll go up.
I got to figure out where the hole is.
So these rails here, they are dead center with the hole, okay? And then you have to find the center from the up and down.
I keep going into a blank hole.
A T-slot, yes.
Yeah. And what seems like a screw hole is not. Let's try, it's a T-slot.
You got to succeed at this. You couldn't get the other bolt. Right?
Yeah, that is strange.